Key 0. The Fool. Aleph is the Hebrew equivalent for the English A. Its numeral value is 1. In Roman characters used for transliterating Hebrew words throughout this book, its name is ALP, Aleph, meaning bull or ox. This is believed by many to establish the time of the invention of the alphabet as being during the astronomical period called the Taurian Age, when the bull was the god symbol dominant in the leading religions of the world. Apis in Egypt, Mithra among the Persians, Dionysus among the Greeks, all had the bull or ox as a symbol. Since oxen pulled the plow and threshed the grain in primitive husbandry, besides pulling the carts which carried the farmer's produce to market, they became the symbols for the motive power in agriculture. Agriculture is the basic form of civilization, thus the ox represents the power at work in all forms of human adaptation and modification of natural conditions. Oxen, again, are symbols of wealth, as our own English adjective pecuniary, derived from the Latin pecus, cattle, clearly shows. Finally, oxen and bulls, the world over, represent creative energy, life power, the vital principle of plants, animals, and men, which comes to us in the physical form as the light and heat of the sun. The Hebrew name for this vital principle is ruach. Its literal basic meaning is breath. It is equivalent to English spirit, Latin spiritus, Greek pneuma, and Sanskrit prana. All these words mean air or breath. They all designate the all-pervading cosmic energy which animates every living creature. This ruach is specifically attributed to the letter Aleph in the Kabbalistic Book of Formation. Fiery or scintillating intelligence is the mode of consciousness assigned to Aleph. Breath keeps a fire alight in our bodies. In both Old and New Testaments, we are told, "The Lord our God is a consuming fire." To define the primal mode of the life power, the first aspect of the cosmic vital principle, is impossible. Yet wise men have ever agreed that it is like fire. And the most recent discoveries of modern physics demonstrate the fact that the something whereof all things are made is a radiant, fiery energy. Occultism adds the thought that this energy is the working power of pure consciousness, which plays upon that energy, is inseparable from it, and directs all its manifestations from within. This idea of inherent directing consciousness, combined with current scientific explanations of the electromagnetic constitution of matter, gives precisely the conception which Kabbalists convey by the term scintillating intelligence. In the color scale used by some Western schools of occult science, the element of air and the fiery life breath are represented by a clear, pale shade of yellow. Since the discovery of the planet Uranus, the higher octave of Mercury, this planet has been attributed to Aleph, and is represented by the pale yellow tint just mentioned. Its tone vibration is E natural. The planetary name Uranus, it should be noted, is the English adaptation of a Greek word meaning sky. Furthermore, those who believe, with the present writer, that all language and, in consequence, all accepted scientific nomenclature is an evolutionary process having its origin in the universal mind may reach the conclusion that the noun uranium, derived from Uranus, is by no means a chance designation for the chemical element whence are derived the thought-designed and man-made elements neptunium and plutonium. Those terrible, quote, sky powers, which appear at present to threaten the extermination of humanity in a frenzy of insane suicide. Yet, these same powers might, if rightly applied, so change our globe that it would become a veritable paradise. Ageless wisdom, in spite of all appearances to the contrary, holds fast to the conviction that the directing intelligence will so work itself out in human thought that new constructive uses for the quote, sky power, going far beyond what most of us can now imagine, will bring to fulfillment the ancient promise of a new heaven and a new earth, peopled by regenerated humanity. The zero key elaborates the occult meanings of Aleph. Its number identifies it with the no thing, whence all things proceed. The Kabbalists called this limitless light. In connection with Aleph, we find this light represented as the active principle of existence, prior to actual manifestation. The picture of the fool, therefore, does not show this principle as it really is, because the absolute transcends finite comprehension. Yet the symbols show it as it has revealed itself, in a measure, to the wise. The fool is pictured as a youth, because we are obliged to think of the absolute in terms of our own experience. To our minds, the life breath presents itself in human form. But behind this personal seeming, sages discern something higher, typified in the picture by the white sun. This higher something is an impersonal power, manifesting as the limitless energy radiated to the planets of world systems without number, streaming to them from their respective suns. In manifestation, this energy is temporarily limited by living organisms. Of these, the primary class is the vegetable kingdom, represented by the green wreath which binds the fool's fair hair. The hair itself is yellow, symbolizing the radiant energy of the life breath. The higher class of organisms is the animal kingdom, evolved from the vegetable world, and represented here by the red feather rising from the wreath. This feather is also a symbol of aspiration and of truth. The colors of wreath and feather, green and red, are complementary, as are the kingdoms they symbolize. The cosmic life breath is forever young, forever in the morning of its power, forever on the verge of the abyss of manifestation. It is neither male nor female, hence this gay young traveler's figure might be either a lad or a girl disguised like Rosalind. Actually, it is the heavenly androgen. Always it faces unknown possibilities of self-expression, transcending any height it may have reached at a given time. On this account, the sun behind the traveler is at an angle of 45 degrees in the eastern heaven. As Swedenborg says, the celestial sun remains forever in the spiritual world. The spiritual sun never reaches the zenith, for from the zenith it would have to descend, and the idea here intended is that infinite energy never can reach a point in manifestation whence it must begin to decrease in power. On this account, too, the fool faces northwest, toward a direction which, for Masonic and other occult reasons, has for millenniums been symbolic of the unknown, and of the state just prior to the initiation of a creative process. The traveler's eager gaze is fixed rapturously on a distant height, beyond and above him. He is that which was, and is, and shall be. The deathless, fadeless life principle, subsisting eternally behind all modes of existence. His inner robe is dazzling white, representing the light of perfect wisdom. Dimly traced in the folds at the neck of this white garment are the Hebrew characters of the divine name Yod-He-Vav-He, Jehovah. This name, according to Kabbalists, is represented by the 3 parts of the Hebrew character for the letter Aleph. The white undergarment is almost wholly concealed by the black coat of ignorance, lined with the red of passion, fire, and material force. This outer garment is embroidered with what seems to be a floral decoration, but the unit of design, repeated 10 times, is a yellow wheel containing 8 red spokes. Around this wheel are 7 green trefoils. The yellow color of the wheel represents air or breath. The 8 red spokes combine the number 8, symbol of rhythm, with the color red and refer to the rhythmic action of the fiery activity which sets the life breath into whirling, wheeling motion. The 7 trefoils are green, color of organic life in the vegetable kingdom, and particular color of the planet Venus in color symbolism. Each trefoil represents one of the 7 spirits of God, and one of the 7 great rays of the universal creative energy. They are trefoils because every one of these 7 force rays has a triple expression: A, integrating, B, equilibrating, and C, disintegrating. There are 10 repetitions of this unit of design to refer to the ancient doctrine that all manifestation is in 10 aspects or phases. Quote, 10 ineffable numerations, 10 and not 9, 10 and not 11, end quote, as the Book of Formation says. In one of these wheels, near the bottom of the fool's coat, is placed the Hebrew character for the letter Shin. This refers to the connection between the letters Aleph and Shin, which are both alphabetical symbols of the fiery life breath, or Holy Spirit. In addition to these 10 wheels, there is on the right breast of the fool a yellow circle enclosing a triple flame of red. This represents the state of the life breath prior to manifestation, when the universal energy, yellow disk, although it has the triple potency of expression, the triple flame, within itself, has not yet organized that potency into the rhythmic whirling motion which is the basis of all modes of expression. On the fool's left shoulder is a golden 8-pointed star. Close to it is a silver lunar crescent. These are the sun and moon, or gold and silver of the alchemists. They refer also to Surya, the hot, electric, solar current of prana described in books on yoga, and to Rai, the cool, magnetic lunar current of the same prana. Fundamentally, these are 2 modes of the one life breath. Their activity is both universal and personal. In humanity, they are active in the nerve currents of the physical body. The black wand over the fool's right shoulder is a measuring tool. It supports a wallet having a flap sewn with 10 stitches. The lock of this flap is in the form of an eye. On the wallet, below the flap, is a picture of an eagle. The wand is a symbol of will, of which attention, the wand itself, is the essence, and to which memory, the wallet, is closely linked. The wallet contains the summed up experience of previous manifestations, because, at the beginning of every new cycle of self-expression, the life power carries with it the essence of all its experiences in former cycles. The lock of this wallet is in the form of an eye, which stands for the all-seeing eye of Freemasonry, and for the eye of Horus in Egyptian symbolism. It suggests also that through the development of a higher type of vision, we may gain access to the treasure of stored-up experience in the universal memory. The 10 stitches on the flap have the same meaning as the 10 wheels on the fool's coat, and refer to the 10 types of vision or higher perception developed by occult practice. The eagle on the wallet refers to the zodiacal sign Scorpio. Thus, it intimates that the wand and wallet together may be understood to be phallic emblems referring to the natural process whereby the accumulated experience of the life power is passed on from cycle to cycle through an endless chain of living organisms. In occultism, moreover, the awakening of the higher vision symbolized by the eye on the flap of the wallet is brought about by practices which redirect and sublimate the bodily forces related astrologically to the sign Scorpio. The rose in the fool's left hand is white, to indicate freedom from the lower forms of desire and passion, and also to show that it refers to the spiritual prototype of desire. It is a cultivated flower, showing, as do other details of the fool's vesture and equipment, that he has come from a previous scene of cultural activity, from a plane somewhere behind him on his journey. For, as corresponding to Aleph, the fool symbolizes cultural activities. At the waist, the robe is encircled by a girdle having 12 circular ornaments, of which 7 are visible. It refers to the 12 signs of the zodiac, through which are expressed the powers of the 7 heavenly bodies known to the ancients. Thus, the girdle typifies time, and since the belt must be removed in order to take off the black coat, here is a plain intimation that to rid ourselves of ignorance and passion, we must overcome the illusion of time, which is, as Kant long ago proved, purely a creation of the human intellect. A practical occultist learns to replace time by eternity, and practices daily to accustom himself to leading the timeless life. The citrine or olive of the fool's hose, the tint varies in various versions of tarot, refers to the element of earth, and to the 10th numeration or aspect of the life power, which Kabbalists call the kingdom. His yellow shoes refer to the element of air, which is the vehicle of the life power. The icy peaks in the distance show that the cold, abstract principles of mathematics are above and behind all the warm, colorful, vital activities of cosmic manifestation. The little white dog is a descendant of wolves and jackals. Thus, he is a human adaptation, whereby something given in a wild and dangerous state by the unmodified processes of nature has been changed into a friend, helper, and companion of man. He also indicates the truth that all subhuman forms of the life power are elevated and improved by the advance of human consciousness. Finally, for symbolic reasons going back to ancient Egypt, he is a symbol of intellect, subordinate to superconsciousness. The Fool, then, symbolizes what Dr. Waite in his Key to the Tarot calls, quote, the state of the first emanation, end quote. He is the primary aspect of universal consciousness, which we term superconsciousness. He is the cosmic life breath about to descend into the abyss of manifestation, because he symbolizes the state of the life power just prior to the beginning of a cycle of self-expression. He also represents inexperience. For until the life power actually enters into the particular activities of such a cycle, it can have no real experience of those activities. It is because of this inexperience that the subtle wise men who invented tarot called this key the Fool. Another reason was that they were familiar with the philosophic truth that superconsciousness is above reason, imagination, thought, feeling, and all other states of self-consciousness. The mystical theology of Dionysus, therefore, says of God, quote, he has neither imagination nor reason, nor does he know anything as it is, nor does anything know him as he is, end quote. Apply these words to a man, and you call him a fool. Furthermore, the attempt to limit divine consciousness to personality, making God a big man, is mentally to create a foolish divinity. Finally, the title of the zero key refers to that, quote, foolishness of God, which is wiser than men. End quote. This means that although superconsciousness has no actual experience of those facts and events which are the warp and woof of human knowledge, its inherent awareness of the principles of its own nature far transcends the limits of human wisdom.